This is Greg Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV. We're here at the North Shipping 2017 in Oslo and very pleased to be joined by Frank Coles, CEO of Transas. And Frank, as always, a pleasure to talk to you.
Hello, Greg. It's great to be here.
Very good. Can you just give an overview of what Transas is today?
Transas is a leading electronics firm in maritime e-navigation, safety, and operations, focusing primarily in ship navigation, ship simulation and training, and also vessel traffic control ashore.
Okay. Well, Frank, I think we've discussed previously, and I know is highlighted here at the North Shipping, is a focus on disruption. Mm-hmm. And in our conversations previously, you've talked about maritime and shipping and Transas's role in disrupting the norm. Mm-hmm. So today, where do you see amongst an industry that is typically conservative in nature, or as it said, where do you see the most ripe opportunities for Transas to quote unquote disrupt and to bring efficiencies to the operations?
Shipping and maritime are two different things from my perspective. Shipping is that carriage of cargo. Maritime is the wet part of carriage of cargo, as we've talked about before. And from that perspective, I see shippers and I see people who want cargo carried from A to B driving the change. Mm-hmm. And so from a maritime perspective, we, the maritime industry, needs to get more technologically advanced. Maritime needs to move to the next level in terms of running their ships more efficiently, their ships more effectively. So how does Transas fit into that? We focus on safety and operations. We focus on e-navigation. So where we are going with it is introducing a new environment and a new ecosystem where these ships can be run in a much more effective way, utilizing the technology. So we want to take the e-navigation on board the ship. We want to connect it to the office. Mm-hmm. We want to have shared decision support. And we also then want to link that operational decision support with traffic management decision support. Imagine an airline environment. It's not exactly the same as the aviation industry, but if you're ever going to have an autonomous ship, you're going to want to have a ship traffic control environment and decision support. So the disruption that I talk about and envision is one where the traditional role of the master, the traditional hierarchy, the traditional ship owner is completely disrupted. And you're in a new environment with shared collaboration, shared decision support between ship and shore, whether it's the traffic control or the operations office working with those on board ship.
In our recent interview that we just put in Maritime Reporter, you were talking about the Googles, the Amazons, the Ubers of the world, how they have come into different markets and obviously disrupted what are traditional industries. What is the reality? I mean, do you see an Amazon coming into this market? Do you see a Google? Do you see these tech companies entering areas where they traditionally have not tread?
Amazon is in our market already. Amazon is in shipping. They've collaborated. They are working with Maersk. Amazon has for years ashore in the United States worked with FedEx until FedEx slipped up 2 years ago in the delivery of packages over Christmas, at which point Amazon started leasing its own aircraft. Now they are working with Maersk, as is Alibaba. Maersk is stepping up their efficiency. They're stepping up their service and capability for Amazon, for Alibaba. Why? Because they know they need to improve. If they make a mistake, it's likely that Amazon will then decide that they need to take a step further and start to lease their own ships. They're in the market. As far as their impact on the actual maritime operations of the vessel, they will just, their impact will be that they will demand smarter, efficient, better operated ships. And that's where the technology companies will come in to enable tomorrow's ship owners. But tomorrow's ship owners may not be today's ship owners. They may be large companies owning large numbers of leased aircraft, leased ships, like the aircraft industry operates today. Many of the large airlines do not own the aircraft, they lease them. They don't even own some of the engines, they lease them. There's no reason why that model may not apply in maritime to introduce new efficiencies.
With that in mind, what do you see as the chief challenge to making that a reality?
The chief challenge? I don't know that there is a challenge. I think the chief challenge for today's players in the market is to recognize the reality, because the disruptors are going to make it happen whether today's environment recognize it or not. I mean, you have a choice. You look around the world. If I look around this conference and if I look around some of the shows, it's like looking into an animal world, right?
How so?
How so? It's like bumblebees with all these buzzwords flying around, right? Yeah. But the truth of the matter is that many of the people are like ostriches because their head is in the sand. Yeah. And if they don't take them out, they're going to be dead as dodos. Okay. Because that's what's happening. We are going to be disrupted whether we like it or not. And the element of disruption comes because you can't see it happening.
Frank, obviously a lot of what you do and a lot of what is being done, the connectivity, kind of goes hand in hand with cybersecurity. Specifically, what is Transas's role in helping to ensure the security of this transformation? And I guess more importantly, what's the expectation from your clients?
Yeah, this cybersecurity, your president and mine talks about fake news. Yes. I wouldn't say cybersecurity is quite fake news, but there is an element of reality missing from the conversations. Okay. I think it's another buzzword, but it's also overinflated in a lot of ways. Okay. If you think cybersecurity is so bad, then you need to stop flying, because they have the challenge in a much greater way, and yet millions of us are flying around the world. We are looking at cybersecurity as a threat that we need to consider, and we do need to consider it. But we're looking at under the current business model and the current environment. If we move to a much more technologically advanced ship, a much more technologically connected ship, then the cyber security will move with the times and will move with the technology, just like it has in the aviation industry.
Every CEO, every leader of any company has their challenges. When you wake up every day, you look at Transas, you look at what you have, you look at where you're going. What do you consider to be your biggest challenge in leading Transas towards the goals that you see?
Are we moving fast enough in today's market? We think we are, but the environment is changing extremely fast. So we worry about it as much as I sit here and talk about ship owners needing to do it. My biggest challenge, the one I wake up and worry about, is, are we moving fast enough?
Very well. Well, again, Frank, I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Greg. It's been fun.
All right. This is Craig Troutwine with Maritime Reporter TV.